Hello, everyone. This is our last closing evening panel, but we will cover the questions that I'm getting asked like on a daily basis by the ecosystem projects and by new team just starting to build up. So I'm pretty sure you're going to take something interesting for you individually from this conversation, especially from our special guests. I'm really happy to see you all. Thank you for joining. I think we should take some time and make a full introduction of everyone we have in this panel. So please, Emily.
Hi, my name is Emily Poplawski. I'm the CEO of Mediplex Studios. We support the Mediplex protocol. We are the NFT protocol for Solana, so all the experiences that you see with NFTs and NFT drops, they're using our metadata standard. And beyond that metadata standard, we offer more utility and smart contracts. So we have smart contracts for minting NFTs, as well as distributing NFTs, whether that's an auction or an NFT drop. And then our most popular product to date has been Candy Machine. And it's a really fun name. But basically what Candy Machine does, it allows you to drop thousands and thousands of NFTs at a time and do it in a way where it's harder for bots to take advantage of it. So really, if you have an NFT, a profile picture NFT, you likely have used an NFT that was minted and distributed through Candy Machine.
Thank you. Ben?
Hey everyone, my name is Ben. I'm with Jupiter. So Jupiter is Solana's first liquidity aggregator. And what that means is that we actually aggregate all of the major liquidity sources on Solana to offer you the best prices for swapping any token to any token. We just launched several weeks ago, and we're already doing several million in daily volume transactions.
Amazing. Thank you. That's great. Moving forward to our next guest, Terry.
Hi guys, I'm Terry. I'm the founder of Solanium Ventures. I'm actually a developer at Core, working at the Solanium Launchpad platform. Some of you might know it already or participated in an IDO there. And yeah, excited to be here.
Thank you so much. And our last but not least guest, Itai.
Itai.
Itai, sorry.
It's all good. I'm a CEO and partner at Market Across. We're a blockchain marketing and PR firm. Been in space for a long time. Run PR for Polkadot, Polygon, eToro, a few others, and of course, know Solana for a while and very active in the Solana ecosystem.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Developers started the blockchain. They fed the growth of the blockchain for a long time. And now the growth of the blockchains is based on the new flow of users, which are non-technical. But non-technical users are as important as their previous the previous community, the developer community. So we will talk today about how to grow a community, how to grow a loyal group of people supporting your project. And we have here a very large group of people, and based on the demand on this conference tickets, we have a large Solana community. So in your opinion, what stands the Solana community apart from other blockchains communities? Itai?
Yeah. I think that, first of all, we're at the last panel of the secondary stage, and it's full. So first of all, I think community's super hungry. I think it's a bit less entitled than I would say the Ethereum community. I see nice, like just projects that are generally nice people. So I do think that from what I'm seeing, there's a very organic burst of actual interest from people that aren't OGs in crypto space that I've seen in conferences in 2016. So there's a lot more fresh faces than I've ever seen in a conference of this size. And I think that it creates a pretty unique community.
Amazing. Terry?
I think also there's a big difference between other ecosystems, is that in Solana I don't necessarily feel a lot of tribalism. Like we work with a lot of projects from the early stages who are already like focused on making the whole product cross-chain, which I think is pretty unique.
I'm probably gonna echo whatever everyone else is gonna say, but I've actually found the ecosystem. Everyone is not only very talented, they're very helpful and nice, and approachable. So I think you could walk up to anyone and be able to like have a great conversation, get some help, and kind of get a leg up and started. So it's been wonderful.
Yeah, everyone kind of hit all the points. The point to me that is really salient is Solana is the most equitable blockchain. If you think of the cost of Ethereum and just getting into NFTs there, it's 120 gas price, which comparatively to Mediplex, it's a couple of dollars. So really, when you think about barriers to entry, how to get the most people possible into the blockchain and Web3, Solana is the solution, in my opinion, and it's up to all of us here to keep that spirit up. Talking to people in our community from countries like Venezuela or places in the world that are not developed countries like Europe, where finances and turmoil are happening in their country for them, blockchain matters the most. Principles like be your own bank. So we really need to preserve that. And I really hope that in future conferences, the community and the energy here tonight is the same, and that we welcome people who are new, and we don't have a stigma that you weren't here in 2021. You joining the party then, you're just as important.
Thank you so much, Emily. Yeah, we kind of covered a little bit the theoretical part, what we have, that we have amazing Solana community and what we already have. But if there is a new, just starting project out there in the ecosystem and they plan to build the community, what you would advise them to start with, and what challenges they might face, what advices you would give them, like what is the flow of starting actually the community?
Yeah, so I'll start the question, and then we had like a fun time talking about this ourselves. So I think whenever you're starting a new community, you have to identify like who's in that community and what it is that they care about. So talking to the community organically, hearing their voices and what they're saying is really important in designing that, and also designing your project in general. What we see in Mediplex, we have 25,000 plus NFT projects, a large number of communities, is the spirit of building and creating product like after the NFT drop. So if you think about marketing and the excitement and doing the NFT drop, now people have your NFT. What is it that they're going to do? Is it gating them into a special community? Is it entering into a game? A large portion of our projects actually are seeing this like huge drive to charity. And recently, this past week, we integrated charities. So like in the drop down, I hope it's out, but you can pick up one of 200 charities, and that in royalties, you can flow funds into that. So really finding the sticky measure of what people do once they're in the community is important. I think more than any other industry in the past, mobile, whatever, all those industries, like you never knew the health of the community because it was behind closed doors. You couldn't see the inside finances. But here in NFTs, you always know the floor price. You always know if people are trading out. So as a creator community, you're held to a lot higher standard. You need to make sure that people are happy because they're not just using your product for free. They've actually bought, on average, an NFT that costs 540 equivalent to the USD dollars. So there's this huge principle of reciprocity. Because people on your platform, because they're using you, because they've already paid, you as a creator, you as a community manager, you owe them that really nice level of customer support.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you need to show love to your community, that they are taken care of. And it's actually an important factor of the loyalty, because when you just already launched a product, that attracts a lot of attention, and it's easy to grab the people's time when you're about to launch something. But it's hard to keep the loyalty after the launch, and you kind of need some special tricks and tips for that. Ben, I know you have a different opinion on this, and it's kind of like not a tactical person. You're more like about the impulsive community growing.
Sure.
Can you share about it more?
Let me give a little bit of context first. So with Jupiter, we launched. I mean, we saw a very big need. There were a lot of tokens launching, and there were a lot of markets coming up, and so we felt there was a big need for having a swap aggregator in Solana, right, to make it super easy to buy. Say if you wanted to buy Woof or Cheem or any number of these meme coins, right? So for us, like, we delivered value to the ecosystem, to the community, like, right away, right? And our approach to like building our community was really finding people who resonated with our product. So we actually we haven't done any airdrops. We haven't done any incentive programs because we think it's really important to find people who truly love what you do and they truly see value, and use that to build sort of the base, right? The base of the people who are going to stick with you. So actually, a lot of times people come in and they say, when token, when airdrop, and I sort of tell people like this thing, like, you don't really want to be that friend who's always hitting you up for money. That's really not a good relationship. It's not a good way to kind of kick off anything. And so, like, I see our community sort of as like friends, right? We're actually trying to build a home for traders to trade any token. And I think it's really important to try to create an environment with genuine, true connection.
Yeah, the feeling of friendship is very important, and I think it's the most valuable thing you can find across the communities. Terry, what was your path in growing the community for the company, and what challenges did you face?
Yeah, so we pretty much grow the community like really, really quick. We only started the project like on mainnet like 5-6 months ago. And basically what we did was a sort of kind of whitelisting system, which we're basically using still to this day, a little bit more defined. But yeah, to get to the point of like the loyalty of the community, I think for us as like a launchpad, it's tricky because we're also like really dependent on like external factors, like what kind of projects the people want or the majority of the community want. And I think in the Solana ecosystem, we're pretty lucky. Like there are a lot of top-tier projects that we launched so far and that are in the pipeline. We've got like a big diversification of the lineup. We got gaming projects. We got actual like technical DeFi projects. Yeah, to basically keep everyone happy.
Here we are. Itai, what was your experience? Maybe you can see some patterns across the blockchains, what are mistakes, on the other hand, best practices.
I think that it's important to not fall for tribalism. A lot of crypto historically has been very tribal, so I hate that guy or that gal because she thinks the block should be bigger or smaller, so they're the antichrist or whatever. So I think that it's a cheap trick that you could use, but you shouldn't. And I think you should build a community that's for yourself and not against something else. And I think that that's, from what I've seen in Solana, happening. So I don't see any big antichrist or a lot of anti-whatever memes of, and there's some sick shit out there. The second thing that I think it's important to see is not just a lot of other chains that are, I would say, Ethereum competitors are just trying to do copycats of whatever works on Ethereum. So they're like, oh yeah, we're doing that, but on this chain. And I do think that it's important in a new blockchain like Solana. So yes, you're doing something that's similar to something that worked somewhere else. That's good. You have to bring something new, and you have to bring something that other people. So again, if let's say MakerDAO succeeded, a few other things on Ethereum didn't succeed. See what didn't succeed there, learn from there. So I do think it's very important to, so there are a lot of people that are entering the blockchain just for Solana, that's great, but there's also a lot of people who've been in space for 4 or 5 years, and we want to see what you guys have learned from projects that failed. And unfortunately, a lot of people raised a lot of money and did not deliver a lot of the products. So I do think that don't be tribal, go pro, and also look at projects that wanted to do what you were doing similar in the past few years and see what they did wrong and learn from it. So I think that's very important. When I talk to someone and they say, I have no competitors in the space, it's a very big turn down. So first of all, we all live in a centralized world and we're surviving. So there's always a centralized, and there's most likely 4 different people who wrote a white paper kind of similar to what you want to do in the past, even if they did nothing with it. Understand what didn't work there. So it's very, very important if you ask me.
Where should the projects actually look for the community? Like there is some projects that have beautiful product, but they have 0 followers, and it works also the other way around. Where to actually find those community and loyal followers? Where to start?
So I think there's pros and cons. I think Launchpad is always seen as a very good way, and I'm pro that for new tokens, but I would say select 1 or 2. But if you do 6, 7 Launchpads, and then you come to us and say, we have a problem with the community, there's 50,000 people there, but they're not really engaged. But yeah, because you went to 7 different Launchpads and they discovered you through what coin am I buying this month. So I I personally am not a big fan of vanity metrics when it comes to community. I don't care about the numbers. It's more about, I would say, the online and the active. So a 3,000 person community that really is engaged and loves it and isn't one token, wear an airdrop, that's great. And I think that start from, creating materials, writing stuff. Start with 3, 4, have an invite. I really agree with don't incentivize people on day one. Yeah. So of course, when you want to scale, there's a certain thing, but incentivizing someone, as someone who has 3 kids, I can't incentivize them to do everything because it's not going to work well. There's just not that many popsicles in the world. So I agree. I think that just start small, get 1, get 2, get a friend, and escalate.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, 2 people is a community, 3 people is a community, 4 people is a community. So starting off small and just seeing what people are talking about in a really organic way and then fostering that conversation. Typically, one solution that has worked really well is coming out of COVID. JK, we're still in COVID, but coming out of COVID, like the drive to be with one another in social environments like this awesome conference is just such a carrot. Like people want to get back out there. They want to have happy hour. They want to see people. So social events, just like online events, are just so much important. And then always, always, always be helpful. If people have a question, answer it. Before this job, I actually sold a company, and we had the largest community in women's health. And it was all about answering those really awkward questions about health and fertility. So if you're able to provide someone something of value, they remember that. And if you're able to provide them something of value when they're most vulnerable or when they're struggling with their code or when they're excited, if there's an emotional tie-in, then that tie-in affinity to your product and your platform is so much greater. So create an emotional response that's positive and not negative, and measure that too. So another good way to measure that is you want 40% or more of people coming to your platform to retain into the next week and week over week. That would be a healthy metric to track.
Well, I'll just add a couple thoughts. I actually think it's really important to think about what is the kind of community you want to build, right? And I think it's actually also equally important to think about like what is the community that you want to be a part of, right? Because it sort of comes down to if you're going to be there and you have to be there and answer all the questions and you spend all that time, it has to be a place that you want to be there for. Because if it's sort of this thing where you see it as a task, where like I should come in and do this thing and then get out, then there's never going to be enough momentum and enough energy, because in the very beginning, really the person who's going to be the anchor for the community is you. So I think that's really important.
I also want to add that growing a community is a great source of the community manager, because sometimes people bring to the product someone from the outside, and if you find a community manager in your community, first of all, the person is already engaged with the product, it knows all the details, the person is excited about the product, which allows them to share the motivation and the excitement and love with the community, as well as it gives them the opportunity to actually contribute and be part of something big and grow together. So having even a small community and taking the community manager from it can create the loyalty right from the beginning.
That's so true.
Okay, great. We still have a little bit of time left, and we are at the last panel today, so I think we can be a little experimental, right? And try the first thing in this day is to ask you guys to give you the opportunity to ask questions. So if you have questions, please raise your hand, and the person with the microphone will come to you, and we will be happy to answer.
Yeah, so we think as a panel, and we're okay with like controversial questions. So if you're feeling a little feisty out there, it's always good morning somewhere.
Not much. I'll give you guys just maybe something you guys talked about, and maybe I can segue what I said. So as I said, there's a lot of projects that didn't work in crypto, and that's a community that you can maybe engage and get back to. So if you're doing something better than a project that didn't succeed, engage that community. There's also, by the way, more aggressive things to do, quote unquote vampire attacks or whatever. Give us that token that didn't do well because the project didn't fulfill itself. Give it to us and we'll give you yield of our new stuff. There's a lot of different things, but I think that if you really find the different products and communities that you are fulfilling what they said they will, there's a dormant community waiting for someone to do what they wanted to do. And I think that that's a very cool way. So be a bit more proactive. Find the people that wanted to do what you wanted to do and engage their community. I've seen a lot of success there.
Yeah. Another idea I think is like listening to communities that have failed is like any time of the day you can go in a Twitter space on Twitter and just hear what people are talking about, especially in NFTs, and they're asking for products.
Yep.
So if you're an entrepreneur here tonight, just listening to what people are asking for, build a product for that, and then that Twitter space is already part of your community. You can go back to that Twitter space and say, hey, the ideas that you talked about, we did. I think testing is also a great idea. We have there's a female entrepreneur I talked to last week, and we red-pilled her onto Solana. But she's building the first Solana dating app, and the way she figured that out is she was experimenting early on in Clubhouse and using Clubhouse as a platform to see like how her dating
that's cool.
gameplay would work. So it was free. She grew it to like 10,000 weekly listeners, and it gave her the confidence to like quit her job as a software developer at Fang and build this dating app on Solana.
It's amazing.
Wow.
That's very great. We got a question from the audience. Can you say your name and the question?
Yeah, hey everyone, my name is Chris Price. I have a question that I've been getting from a lot of people in the Ethereum network. One is about, since their community is so Ethereum based, how can they take that exact same community or get new people in the Solana ecosystem super excited about their project? So some of them are actually afraid to move over to Solana because they don't think that they'll be accepted by the Solana ecosystem. So what would you say to someone wanting to transition from the Ethereum over to Solana? And that could be for anyone.
So first of all, there's technically build the right bridges and help them, again, wrap it, whatever if you want. As I said, vampire attacks. The other thing is what I said, don't be tribal. If people, so let's put it this way, Cardano ecosystem, again, whatever, really tries to be tribal. So if you're into Ethereum and you're never going to go to you feel like there's a very big disconnect. So if you don't make so many rivals, and if you don't make yourself, again, if you don't claim to flame by that guy sucks, then you're not going to have that, I would say, emotional disconnection. And sometimes rivals need each other. You know, CNBC needs Fox News, but then you're not going to move from whatever. So I think that taking the route of not being anti-Ethereum could make you a good, and again, technically make the right bridges and everything, but I think that's very important. Just don't shit on Ethereum. They're also, by the way, again, the biggest chain, and you still like, there's room for more than one, so it's all good. You know, that's my personal opinion. Most of the base layers that are being used right now are almost at full capacity. It's or you're a dead chain and no one's using it, or you're really running at where you need to be and you can always grow more. But there's a lot of growth happening. So don't be tribal and just create the right bridges, I think.
Also, I think everyone has always done it before you have. So if you're thinking about going to a new chain, finding projects or people who've done it before, and then hearing how it went, that's all more informative. And then you can learn from their mistakes if they had mistakes too.
Any more questions from the audience? Yeah.
Take it.
Here we go, in the middle. The gentleman in the center.
Oh, sorry. Thanks. Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to apologize for my English. I'm French. Sorry. My question is for everyone who wants to take it. And it would be, in your opinion, what would be the next round of utility in NFTs?
I already said dating apps, so someone should go next.
I think financial NFTs. I think NFTs as collectibles is cool. That's a whole different thing. But I think that right now you're going to see NFTs as representation of allocations of investments, of investment strategies or whatever. So I'm really bullish on NFTs that have nothing to do with JPEGs and art, to be honest. That's what I'm looking at personally.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot in the DeFi space. We're seeing a lot of not only collaboration, but kind of moving the utility of NFTs and combining them to offer utility, not just like extra benefits or extra airdrops or something, but being able to like even multiply the collecting more. gosh, let me think about this. So instead of NFTs having a flat-out benefit, right, you can think of them almost as Legos, right, where the benefits stack on top of each other, right? And so like you can actually create more interesting sort of DeFi effects in protocols. So I think you'll see that in the next wave of NFTs.
I'll maybe answer it in like a data perspective. So at Mediplex, we have thousands and thousands of different projects and partners. And if I were to like divide them as a pie, I would say a lot of arts and collectibles are building like social and community applications followed by games. And then we're seeing a lot of movement in sports as well. So just those would be the three categories, but it's so early. We just need more categories to get in there and show the world what it's all about.
More questions?
Hi, my name is James, and I'm working on a charity NFT project dedicated to ending world hunger by collecting proceeds and donating 20% to charities like Action Against Hunger. My question is for Emily, and I'm curious if you have any data or perspective about how much is the optimal percentage to donate to charity. We're targeting 20%. I know real-world charities and foundations might go as low as 5% for sustainability, but I want to balance that and staying true to a good cause.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't see where you were.
Right there. Right there.
Hey, friend. So we are just now getting up our data explorer. So rather than me pulling a number out of thin air, I would love to just connect with you in the coming weeks and actually present for our community. Here's the bell curve, and then actually do like quantitative surveys. But 20%, I've heard a lot of projects use that range. So I think you are definitely on the higher end, but know that there is a better answer I can give you. It's just not in this moment, and I want to be transparent about that.
Amazing. Thank you. Do we have more questions from the audience? Okay, then I'm gonna take the chance and ask my question. What do you guys think of ambassador program as an instrument of onboarding new community members that are proactively in participating at the product or the network or whatever? What is your opinion?
Investor program, you mean?
Ambassador
Ambassador
programs. And if we launch them at the beginning of the growth of the product or at the end, are they sustainable enough, and how long they can last?
I'll take my take. Yeah. I think that pre-product ambassador programs smell a bit to me, because what can we be ambassador of? There is not a product. So I think it's good to have a community pre-product. It's important to get them. But again, I know Cardano's a big thing, but you do need a product to get people really riled up. And if you do all this stuff and you don't want to over-incentivize people, you don't have a product, it doesn't create the best, I think, engagement or audience. So I think it's important to do things pre-product, but post-product, of course, I'm all for those tactics, but you still need to get people to be incentivized, I think, for more users and less Twitter followers. So when you have a product, it's not ambassadors, it's referral fees, it's affiliates. So it's true you can call it that way, but yes, businesses should do affiliates and referral fees. Ideas shouldn't pay too much for ambassadors, I think, pre-product, because it creates a bit of a gap, in my opinion.
I would agree with you. I would actually, though, say that you should move fast on an ambassador program once you have a product. What we've noticed is that a lot of our best community members happen to be really strong community members in a lot of other communities, and they're actually really ready to be an ambassador. They're really ready to connect you with these other communities. And so what you want to do is you want to capitalize on that energy as soon as possible, because it's usually at the beginning of things that people have the most excitement for, the most energy to do things. And if you let it sort of lag for a bit, like say you take a couple months to start up your ambassador program or whatever it is, those people might have shifted away their attention, or they might have been drawn into another active project, and you might have lost sort of a key moment.
But I think that Emily said something correct, that you can find them inside your community. Instead of inviting them to do an open sign-up, find who's the most active one and make him your ambassador, as or your moderator or whatever.
As an organization, you only have so much budget and so many times a day. When I've done ambassador programs in the past and I've given finances to them, they haven't performed as well as if I've taken those finances and team resources and just invested it back into the project to create like the next viral winning feature. So I think when possible, giving people back with tools, that creates like more excitement and referral and goodwill than just paying someone to talk about a crappy tool.
Can I just share one thing about that? Because I've noticed that about sort of failed roles in general. And so normally with any role that I do, like I never give it to anyone who asks me. I actually wait for someone to do it organically. Like I watch to see like, are they sharing already? And then if they do, then I give them the actual program. So
it's a good tip. Yeah.
That was super interesting conversation. Thank you so much for participating at today's panel. We are out of time, and unfortunately we are the last panel for today, but we still see tomorrow. And thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.